Russia, a vast land of mystery and beauty. From the gilded domes of St. Basil's Cathedral to the Hermitage's artistic treasures, Russia promises an unforgettable journey. Imagine strolling through Red Square, the Kremlin's imposing walls whispering tales of centuries past. The allure of Russia extends beyond its cities, with vast steppes and the legendary Trans-Siberian Railway. However, recent global events have cast a shadow over this alluring picture. The world has watched as geopolitical tensions have escalated, creating an atmosphere of uncertainty and concern. This inevitably raises the question, can a Western tourist still experience the magic of Russia? And more importantly, should they? The current geopolitical landscape is undeniably complex, with the Russia-Ukraine conflict at its heart. This conflict, which began in 2014 with the annexation of Crimea, escalated dramatically in February 2022. What started as a regional dispute has sent shockwaves across the globe, reshaping international relations and impacting everything from energy markets to travel. The conflict stems from a complex web of historical grievances, political tensions, and strategic interests. The full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022 marked a significant escalation, leading to widespread international condemnation and a humanitarian crisis. The international community's response to the Russia-Ukraine conflict has been swift and multifaceted. Western countries, led by the United States and the European Union, have condemned Russia's actions and imposed a series of sanctions aimed at crippling its economy. These sanctions target key sectors of the Russian economy, including finance, energy, and defense. Beyond economic measures, many countries have also provided military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine. The conflict has strained ties between Russia and the West, leading to a level of mistrust and hostility reminiscent of the Cold War era. The Russia-Ukraine conflict and the ensuing sanctions have had a ripple effect across various sectors, including tourism and travel. Russia, once a popular destination for its rich culture, history, and vast landscapes, has seen a sharp decline in tourist arrivals since the start of the conflict. Travel restrictions imposed by Western countries, including flight bans and visa suspensions, have made it increasingly difficult for citizens to visit Russia. Major credit card companies like Visa and MasterCard have suspended operations in Russia, making it challenging for visitors to access funds or make transactions. According to the World Tourism Organization, international tourist arrivals to Russia have dropped by over 70% since the conflict began. Travel industry reports also indicate a significant decline in bookings and travel-related revenues. Beyond the logistical hurdles, safety concerns have also played a significant role in deterring tourists. The first hurdle for any Western tourist considering a trip to Russia is navigating the complex web of travel restrictions and visa requirements. The geopolitical situation has led to a patchwork of regulations that vary depending on nationality and the constantly evolving political climate. For citizens of many Western countries, direct flights to Russia have been significantly reduced or suspended altogether. Furthermore, even if you can secure a flight, obtaining a visa to enter Russia can be a lengthy and bureaucratic process. Once you've navigated the visa process, a new set of regulations awaits upon arrival in Russia. One significant change has been the suspension of most visa-free travel arrangements for citizens of Western countries. Upon arrival, travelers may be asked to provide evidence of sufficient funds to cover their expenses during their stay in Russia. Russia has implemented strict currency regulations, limiting the amount of foreign currency that can be brought into or out of the country. In addition to the logistical hurdles, Western tourists need to be aware of the travel advisories issued by their governments. These advisories provide valuable insights into the current safety and security situation in Russia and offer recommendations for travelers. In the wake of the Russia-Ukraine conflict and the ensuing geopolitical tensions, many Western governments have issued travel warnings for Russia. It's imperative to check the latest travel advisory issued by your government before booking any travel to Russia. Traveling to Russia in the current climate requires a heightened awareness of security measures and the potential for surveillance. Tourists should be prepared for a visible security presence in public spaces, including airports, train stations, and popular tourist attractions. Beyond the visible security measures, tourists should also be aware of the potential for electronic surveillance. Being aware of the heightened security environment and taking steps to protect your privacy can help mitigate potential risks and ensure a smoother travel experience. While Russia has a long tradition of hospitality, it's important to acknowledge that the current geopolitical climate has led to increased anti-Western sentiment in some segments of society. This hostility could manifest in various ways, from verbal harassment to discrimination in service encounters. One way to minimize the risk of encountering hostility is to maintain a low profile and avoid drawing attention to yourself as a foreigner. If you do encounter hostility, it's best to remain calm, avoid engaging in arguments, and remove yourself from the situation as quickly and safely as possible. Communication barriers and cultural differences can pose challenges for travelers in any destination, and Russia is no exception. The language barrier can be particularly daunting, as English is not widely spoken outside major cities and tourist areas. Carrying a phrase book or using a translation app can be helpful, but it's also advisable to learn a few basic Russian phrases before you go. By approaching cultural differences with an open mind and a willingness to adapt, you can enhance your travel experience and foster meaningful connections with the local people. The morality of travel, supporting a sanctioned economy. The decision to travel to Russia in the current climate comes with inherent ethical complexities. The most pressing of these is the question of whether traveling to Russia equates to supporting a sanctioned economy. Western governments have imposed these sanctions as a means of exerting pressure on the Russian government to change course in its actions in Ukraine. By traveling to Russia, spending money, and contributing to the tourism industry, you are indirectly providing revenue that could potentially support the Russian government's actions. This raises a moral dilemma for many potential travelers. Does the personal enjoyment of a trip outweigh the ethical implications of supporting a regime that is actively engaged in a conflict many find reprehensible? There are no easy answers to this question. Some argue that any financial contribution to Russia, however small, helps prop up a government actively undermining international norms and causing suffering. They believe that boycotting travel is a powerful way to voice disapproval and contribute to the pressure campaign aimed at ending the conflict. Others maintain that engaging with ordinary Russian citizens through tourism can foster cross-cultural understanding and demonstrate that opposition to the government's actions does not equate to opposition to the Russian people. They believe that tourism can be a force for good, promoting dialogue and challenging preconceived notions. Ultimately, the decision of whether to travel to Russia rests with the individual. A delicate balancing act, respecting local sensitivities. Beyond the economic considerations, traveling to Russia in the current climate demands a heightened sense of cultural sensitivity. The conflict in Ukraine is a deeply sensitive topic for Russians, evoking a range of emotions and perspectives. It's crucial to remember that your experience as a tourist is shaped by the lived realities of the local people. Engaging in conversations about the conflict requires tact, diplomacy, and a willingness to listen and learn without imposing your own viewpoints. Avoid making sweeping judgments or generalizations about Russia or its people based on your limited experience as a tourist. Remember that the situation is nuanced, and perspectives on the conflict vary widely within Russian society. While it's natural to be curious and want to engage in conversations about current events, it's essential to approach these interactions with humility and respect. Recognize that your opinions may not be welcome or shared, and avoid engaging in debates or arguments that could escalate into confrontations. Instead, focus on listening, learning, and trying to understand the perspectives of those you encounter. Remember, your role as a tourist is not to change hearts and minds, but to experience a different culture and engage with its people in a meaningful and respectful way. By being mindful of local sensitivities and approaching conversations with empathy and understanding, you can foster positive interactions and create a more enriching travel experience. Weighing the scales, risk versus reward. Should you visit Russia now? This question weighs heavily on many travelers. The answer is not a simple yes or no. It depends on personal risk tolerance and desire to experience Russia. Visiting Russia now is not the carefree trip it once was. Practical hurdles are undeniable: flights, visas, financial transactions, and security. Anti-Western sentiment adds complexity, requiring vigilance. Yet for some, the allure remains. The chance to stand in Red Square, wander the Hermitage, or journey on the Trans-Siberian Railway holds appeal. Russia's history and culture captivate the imagination. For those willing to navigate complexities, a trip to Russia can be rewarding. It demands flexibility and adaptability. Your experience will differ from pre-conflict travel. Ultimately, the decision rests with you. Alternatives and final thoughts. If you decide to postpone your Russian adventure, several enticing alternatives offer similar cultural and historical richness. Consider exploring the captivating region of the Caucasus with its stunning mountain scenery and warm hospitality. Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan each boast unique cultures and fascinating histories. Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia offer a blend of medieval architecture and stunning natural beauty. Central Asia beckons with its Silk Road legacy and nomadic traditions. Traveling to Russia now demands careful consideration of the current geopolitical climate and potential risks. No matter your choice, remember that informed travelers make the best travelers. A journey of your own making. The decision to embark on a journey is deeply personal, woven from our desires and values. Traveling to Russia epitomizes this truth. It's a decision that demands careful introspection. We've ventured beyond brochures, delving into the heart of traveling to Russia today, acknowledging its allure and complexities. The choice ultimately is yours. There's no right or wrong answer. It hinges on your risk tolerance and ethical compass. May your journey be a source of growth and discovery.